today we are going to discuss how to create environments based on pull requests, or some people call it preview environments or temporary environments. And the reason we want to do that is because the release frequency keeps increasing. We are deploying more and more frequently, and that means that we are creating more and more pull requests that are potentially going to be releases deployed eventually to production. But before we deploy to production, we need to test, we need to verify, we need to review, we need to do quite a few things. And for many of those things, we need a release created from that pull request running somewhere. So we can have any number of releases deployed, and the exact number actually depends on how many pull requests we have open at any given moment. Fortunately for us, Kubernetes allows very high level of dynamism. It allows us to create with relative ease things we need and destroy when we don't. So there is no real reason anymore to have permanent environments like what we traditionally have and call staging or integration or what's or not environment. The only permanent environment that we should have is production and nothing else. Today, to accomplish those two, I'm going to show you how to create those temporary pull request based environments based on GitOps principles and using Argo CD. Now, everything that we are going to do today, that I'm going to show you, should be enveloped in a continuous delivery pipeline, which we are not going to do today. I'm going to show you the base that you can apply inside any CD pipeline. So it's going to be agnostic to the tool that you use for your continuous delivery. Before we proceed, my name is Victor, and this is DevOps Toolkit channel or DevOps Toolkit series channel, in which I explore the tools, processes, patterns, and random stuff that you might or might not find helpful. Please subscribe if you would like to receive notifications next time I publish a new video. So go there, click that subscribe button right away. If you would like to support this channel, please consider getting one of the books or the courses I published together with Darren Pope, my colleague. We are currently working on the DevOps Toolkit catalog, patterns, and blueprints, but there are other courses, other books, if that's not the one you would like to get. Anyways, that's a live project. You get constant updates. You will find links to all the materials and everything that I will do today, including the link to the books and that one in particular in the comments section. So let's get going and explore how to create temporary preview environments based on pull requests. We will use Argo CD and base the process on GitOps principles. And we will try to do everything we need to do in 20 minutes or less. Before we figure out how to create pull requests, or before I show you how to create environments based on pull requests, temporary environments, please note that everything I will do today is available in a gist, which is in the comment section. And also, and this is just as important, I will not explain how Argo CD works. I will assume that you are familiar with it. If you're not, do not be ashamed. Go to this video and you will find the information and introduction to Argo CD. I will assume that you know what it is, and we are going to go and figure out how to do preview environments. So, first question, where am I? Universe, Earth. I'm in Barcelona, but more important from terminal perspective, I am now inside of this repository. This is the repository where I will store the definitions of my preview environments. So for Argo CD to work properly, we need to create a project. So let's take a look at the project YAML. And project YAML is just a typical Argo CD project, there is absolutely nothing special over there. Maybe actually that the namespace, we will allow Argo CD to create namespaces that start with PR. So it will have permissions to create namespaces with the prefix PR. That's probably the only important thing about this project. And then we have the apps YAML, which defines the application of the applications. This is the application that is actually pointing to this repository. This is the same repository where I am right now, but it will assume that it should deploy all the applications stored in the directory Helm. Now, if you look at that directory, actually, let me apply kubectl apply file name apps. Did I apply the project? I probably did. Let me do it one more time just in case. Oh, I didn't. Anyway, I created the project and now I'm going to create the apps or whatever is defined in that file. And now I'm not going to go through Argo CD. I already said you should watch the video. Let's take a look what is in the Helm directory. It's a Helm chart and it has templates directory like every single Helm chart in the world. And it has only one file. And the reason for that file, this is a dummy file. Actually, let me show you what that file is. Helm templates namespace. Because Argo CD does not allow us to create application that doesn't have a single definition. So it needs to have something there. And from there on, we are going to keep adding stuff. So think of it, this is a dummy application. Now, if I list the namespaces, you will see that I have nothing deployed, only Argo CD and the previews namespace. We are not going to store anything there, it's just a dummy namespace, I already said. So let's say that you or one of your colleagues already created a first pull request, and that pull request triggered a CD pipeline that built binary, built container image, and did whatever it needs to do. And now comes the time to deploy. What should your pipeline do? So I'm going to create a few environment variables just to store the imaginary information that we would normally have. And let's say that this is pull request with the ID 1, the first pull request. Let's say that the repository where that pull request was created is DevOps Toolkit. And we're going to create a unique app ID, application ID, because each application needs to have a unique ID with Argo CD, and that will be called PR, always PR as a prefix, and then repo, and then PR ID. Cool. Oh, actually, I need to go back to one thing, but let's continue with this one first. Let's say that we created previously a tag called 1262, and let's say that we want to expose that new application that will soon be deployed through this ingress, which is the ID of the application, ingress, host, and then chip.io. One thing I forgot to do is to show you actually the most important file, which is preview YAML. So think of this as a template for all the applications that will be deployed in preview environments. You would normally have a copy of similar file to the repository of each of the applications so that they can all be slightly different if needed. But in this case, I'm going to assume that all applications follow the same logic. And that logic is that it is a Argo CD application. It has some name, but instead of a hard-coded name, we have this syntax, which is a way to define variables that will be converted into real values with KYML, which we are going to use soon. And then it says, okay, this application based on the pull request is based on a pull request from this repository. Whatever the repository is, we're going to change it at runtime. It has some values that should be overwritten, like the tag of the image, the host name, and app ID. All those placeholders are the variables we just defined. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to output this file, and then I'm going to pass it through KYML templating, and I'm going to tell it to use the environment repo the environment app ID, the environment variable image tag, and the environment variable host name. Oh, typo, host name. And then once KYML processes the template and converts it into the final file, we are going to store it with T in the Helm directory, Helm templates directory, with the unique name of the file appid.yaml. And this is the first preview environment application. This is how it looks like. The name is PR DevOps Toolkit 1. The namespace where we want to create it is this one. It will overwrite some values of that of the definition of that application, and the definition is not here. The definition is in the repository of the application itself. It will prune automatically, self-heal automatically, and this is the important part. We are telling Argo CD to create the namespace if it doesn't exist. And as you can see here, this is the namespace where this preview based on that application, on that pull request should be running. And if you look at the Helm templates directory, this is where we added this file, right? Now all we have to do, honestly, is just to push the file. We don't need to interact with the cluster in any form of way. And as I said before, hopefully your CD tool, continuous delivery tool, would do that for you, but we are doing it manually today. So git add and then commit a silly message and then push it to the Git repo. Now, there is nothing else we need to do because Argo CD should detect that change and do what needs to be done. But since that can take anything between a millisecond and a minute or two, I'm going to speed up the process by telling it to sync manually. Sync the previews up. You don't need to do this, I'm just impatient. There we are. Now, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Get namespaces. I'm not changing the state of my cluster directly in any form of way. And you can see that Argo CD already created the namespace DevOps Toolkit 1 23 seconds ago. So I didn't need to sync manually anyways. And if I output namespace appid, this is PR DevOps Toolkit 1, and get pods, you can see that my application is running there, right? This is a temporary environment for the pull request number 1 for the application called DevOps Toolkit. And I can prove you that that's all working by opening the application with a unique host name stored in the environment variable, and there you go, is deployed the first pull request of this specific application. Cool. Now let's go back to the terminal. Let's say that now in parallel while we are talking, somebody from our company created another pull request, this time with a different application. Let's say that that's also PR first pull request, but of the repository repo DevOps Paradox. The previous one was DevOps Toolkit. This is DevOps Paradox, a different application, different repository. Somebody creates a pull request, and we're going to export the same environment variables, PR repo, and then PR ID, and export image tag. Imagine that a process, continuous delivery tool, whichever pipeline you're using, created image with a specific tag, and let's say that that tag is 1.71. I'm using that one because I built it before. And we want a unique host to be used for that application, which is going to be the same as before, ingress host and chip.io in this case. And what do? Same thing as before. I'm going to actually copy the command. We're going to use KYML again. Where is it? Find it. There we go, right? We're going to use the preview YAML, pass it through KYML to change the variables into new values and create yet another file. So what do we have now? In the Helm templates, now we have yet another file. Here we go, DevOps Paradox 1.yaml, right? This is a second pull request, and we are just storing information in Git. We are not touching the cluster in any formal way. We're going to push that. We're going to commit another PR, and we're going to push it now. And again, I'm going to sync Argo CD manually only to avoid waiting in case there is something to wait for. Let's see. kubectl -- namespace. Remember, it is creating a unique namespace for each preview environment, for each pull request. Get pods, and you can see that it's already running. It's already running for 14 seconds. Yay! And if we open it, HTTP unique hostname stored in this variable. This is my second application with the second pull request, which is not working now. Probably I messed up something. No, it's not namespace, it's hostname. I made a typo. Here we are. Second application. First pull request of the second application was pushed to Git, and that's it. Argo CD did everything else for us. I am not touching the cluster in any formal way. What else? Let's do one more. One more should be enough. Let's say that somebody working on the first application created a pull request too, and we said that app repository is DevOps Toolkit. This is the first application. And let's say that app ID follows the same logic, PR repo, whatever is the repository, and PR ID. And let's say that image tag that was created is this time 2.9.9. I don't even remember what was the last one. And we want unique hostname to be app ID, and then ingress host, and then chip.io. Let's see where it works. You remember what we need to do to create yet another file in a Git repo using kyml. Where is it? I'm going to repeat the same command again. And now if I look at -1 Helm templates, I created a third file, this time DevOps Toolkit 2. And if I push this change to Git, edit to Git, commit, and push, Argo CD will create a third preview environment with the third application or second application, second pull request, what's or not, right? And to speed it up, instead of waiting for automatic synchronization, we're going to sync it manually. And if you take a look at the namespace, where is it? Oh, you see it's out of sync. It will be synced very soon. Clear, kubectl get namespaces. There it is. The third preview environment, pull request number 2 of DevOps Toolkit application is running. Now, the only thing missing, and just as important thing, is that we might, when we close pull request, we want to remove application from the cluster because it's temporary. We need preview to be available only as long as pull request is available, because once we close the pull request, if we do it by merging to the master branch, then it will start the process of deploying to production, which is a separate subject. So what should we do if we imagine that somebody just closed this second pull request of DevOps Toolkit. What do we need to do is to remove it from the templates directory appid YAML, and then add the change, and then commit. I have no patience to write nice commits, and push. And if we synchronize Argo CD, previews up, it will say, look at it, will throw a warning that says, oh, one resource requires pruning. It detected that we removed the file from the repo and that it should remove that application from the cluster. And now, if we retrieve the namespaces, get namespaces, we can see, actually, let me show it again. We can see the namespace is still there because it doesn't really remove the namespace. You would need to remove the namespace yourself, but what matters much more is that if we output --namespace app ID and retrieve the pods from that namespace, it's gone. So application is gone. Empty namespace is still there. You will need to add a line or two in the pipeline to remove the namespace, but the application itself is gone. It doesn't exist. So the only thing left is to remove the namespace. So it would be remove the namespace, or just leave it, doesn't matter. Delete namespace. What matters is that Argo CD removed the application. And that's about it. You know how to create preview environments now. You just use those few commands and plug them into your CD continuous delivery tool, whichever you're using. And remember, you don't need access to the cluster. You just need to manipulate files in a Git repository depending on whether pull request was opened or closed, and Argo CD will handle synchronization between the desired state in Git repository and the actual state, which is your cluster. That's it. I hope that this was somehow useful. Remember, the gist with the commands that you might want to replicate yourself is in the comments section together with all the rest of the resources, and also discount codes for if you want to get the book or the course or what's not. Now, before you leave, please hit the like button. I know you liked it. I'm sure you liked it. Click that button, like it right now, and remember to subscribe to the channel, and then you get notifications when I publish something and I do something and everybody's happy and what's not. Now, if you're interested in supporting this channel, please consider getting one of the books or the courses. The links, including discount codes, are in the comment section. Get me a Red Bull and a pizza so that I can work on new content instead of doing whatever others do when they finish with their office hours. Some people sleep. I do courses and books and then get money from those to buy more Red Bull and pizza to sleep even less. That's the goal of all of that. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time, next week, every Tuesday. I will try to publish a video every Tuesday. So come next Tuesday, you will see something else. And remember, subscribe to get notified. Cheers.